pregnant, I'm anxious to be back home with Owen and our sweet mutt, Daisy, and the baby. The waiting room's only other occupant, a young woman in a pink fluid-stained sweatsuit, sleeps upright on the plastic bench against the opposite wall. From the angular slant of her legs, I can tell someone has propped her there. Her wheelchair, wedged behind the door to the hallway, will be inaccessible when she wakes up. Whoever pushed it out of the way might have intended to be helpful, but they've effectively stranded her. If I can kick her wheelchair over so that it's within her arm's reach, she won't panic when she wakes up. She won't have to call someone for help. Numb from the persistent effect of post-surgical painkillers, I lunge forward. Making it over to the wheelchair feels like wading through viscous, sucking mud, but I manage to nudge it. Close enough. The wheelchair squeaks as it rolls and Owen flinches. We haven't had a moment alone to collect ourselves since we rushed to Dr. Syed's office earlier today. On the drive over, Owen predicted that Dr. Syed might prescribe bed rest for the 3rd trimester. I'd half listened, convinced the fetus was dying inside of me. Neither of us expected to become parents today. "Hey," I whisper. At the same time, a door swings open on the other side of the waiting room, and an unfamiliar nurse appears. The young woman in the pink sweatsuit stirs. She blinks, locates her wheelchair, and looks up at the nurse with raised eyebrows. "Porter?" the nurse calls. Owen jumps to his feet and drags his hands down his face, as if to wipe off the exhaustion. The sign above the door says NICU. We haven't been waiting to be discharged from the hospital at all. We've been waiting outside the St. Elizabeth's neonatal intensive care unit to meet the baby. The nurse leads us into an antechamber with a sink, where she provides us with surgical masks and instructs us to wash our hands. Then she pushes open another door, into a large, dimly lit space that bustles with controlled urgency. "Come with me," she says, and we follow her to a bassinet in the far corner. To reach it, we must weave among a dozen swaddled bodies on elevated tables, attached to IV stands. Their grunts and gasps are barely audible over the whirring and humming of life-giving machines. Another couple huddles over a bassinet against the window. They alternate between sniffling into wadded tissues and speaking in hushed voices to the oblivious, unconscious creature below them. We stop in front of the bassinet over which someone has scrawled on a whiteboard, "Thomas Porter." He must be one of the smallest babies in here. I was only 27 weeks and 3 days pregnant when we arrived at the hospital. His entire 2.5-pound body is about the size of Owen's hand. Countless cords and tubes protrude from beneath the muslin blanket in which he's swaddled, and his gray face is nearly obscured by the oxygen tube taped across it. Someone's smeared a clear, antibiotic goo across his eyelids, which are sealed in a shapeless dream. His fingers flutter in little fists that curl and uncurl, grasping at nothing. It doesn't look like he should be alive. He reminds me of a finch that died years ago on the steps of the entrance of my parents' house. A barely feathered lump, trembling on the bricks beside the welcome mat. My parents had sent a driver to the Bement school in Deerfield, where I'd already been living for 6 months, to bring me home to Needham for the weekend. A rare occasion, and only because it was my 10th birthday. The finch, newly hatched, must have fallen from a cup of twigs nestled behind the holly wreath on the front door. I leaned down to scoop it up with my hands, to rescue it, but stopped myself. Mother birds, I'd read somewhere, would reject their babies once a human had touched them. While I hesitated, the front door swung inward, jostling the nest without dislodging it, and my father's cognac-colored penny loafers stepped down onto the welcome mat. With one worn-in leather sole, he scraped the bird's body across the bricks and into the hedges. "You made good time," he said, as if nothing had died beneath his foot. "Mom's picking up a gift for you on our way back from campus. Happy birthday, kiddo." My mother had arrived hours later, empty-handed.